For all of the attractions that Irving can boast all over the city, there are not any historic cathedrals. But listen to this keynote speaker, and he will tell you that the same long-term thinking and planning that went into constructing these elegant structures is also what's behind some of Irving's current success.
And it is called cathedral thinking. Cathedral thinking is about doing something that takes 40 or 50 years to accomplish. And Irving's loaded with examples of that. Things started 50 years ago that today all the residents, visitors, convention delegates get to enjoy. We should all be involved in unfinished work.
Rick Antonsen spoke at the hospitality industry annual meeting hosted by the Irving Convention and Visitors Bureau. The event celebrates the successes and impact of the visitor industry.
It's important for us, for the community, to understand the value of what happens here. And I think in particular with the conversation this year, a lot of things took a long time to happen. They were worth waiting for.
I was there 20 years ago before any of this was ever a part of the Irving area.
Ronnie Anderson has a unique perspective. He worked for the Marriott Dallas Las Colinas 2 decades ago, then moved to Las Vegas. He recently returned to the Marriott as sales director and noticed a huge change.
It was wow, they've really built it up. Now I have places for my guests to go.
Visitors spend nearly $3 billion a year in Irving. That's a little more than $8 million per day. Let's look at what's behind those numbers. While every property is a little different, at this one, the big driver is
business travelers, a ton of it. I mean, we're surrounded by Fortune 500 companies and everything else in between. We will get that business traveler that comes in that stays 1 day or 1 year. So we are a busy property.
When we have folks come in from out of town and they like to hold their meetings here, we try to give them a fantastic place to stay and still kind of have that retreat atmosphere.
The Toyota Music Factory is also attracting travelers.
We see a lot from out of town. When the convention center is busy and they book conventions and stuff, it's just a short walk right over to Toyota Music Factory, and we just love it.
Hotel reps we talked to at this event say there is a lot of coordination to maximize the impact of visitor spending. The recent Religious Conference Management Association's convention used a lot of local venues.
If we're having the guests stay with us and they're looking for something off-site to kind of go and experience something different, we have relationships with the restaurants as well as with the hotels. When we do have events the size of the RCMA, we just kind of coordinate with each other and say, hey, we can't maybe help everybody, but are you available to kind of take some of the load with us?
This year's award is being presented to BioT Medical.
At this annual meeting, the Convention and Visitors Bureau honors some of those making an impact. Among them, James Tidwell, the owner of Texom, an annual event celebrating wine.
I remember saying, I've got this idea. My friend and I want to start a conference for wine, and the question is always, in Irving, Texas, Four Seasons believed in it, and they have been the venue from the very beginning.
As a result of Texom choosing Irving as its annual home, there have been more than 14,000 room nights generated through 5 events held here.
We buy out the Four Seasons, basically, for a week every year in August, and then we now overflow with rooms into other hotels.
And all that visitor spending makes a difference by generating hotel occupancy and other tax revenue. Nearly $63 million in 2018.
Over the years, as the hotel business has grown, we've been able to use those dollars for our arts. We've been able to use our dollars to build this great facility, the hotel across the way, as well as historic preservation.
While Irving hotels beat state and national occupancy averages now, the Convention and Visitors Bureau closely watches the numbers.
I mean, obviously, we feel good about that when we're doing even better than the rest of the marketplace is, so that's important to us. It's also a challenge in making sure that we balance supply with demand. So if we get oversupplied, it's one of the reasons we're cautious. We want to always be cautious about how we manage growth.
It all comes back to the theme of this event, forging the future, one that is positive for residents and visitors.
And it could be said that those who build a cathedral are like those who build a community or those who help establish a visitor economy. Because like them, those in this room have to find a way to work together.
And while the future may not hold one of these cathedrals, there is time to think about what could be.
What is it that you can do individually or collectively towards designing and making an Irving of 30, 40 years down the road?
Food for thought at this annual luncheon. Thomas Gandy for CitySource.